Okay, what's up? It's like a multi-purpose video here. Let me clip this goofy thing onto my neck somewhere. Doing a live chat on Wednesday, and I suggest everybody check out his channel. Of course, I don't know how happy he'd be with the endorsement. It's kind of like getting an endorsement by Uncle Fester, right? At least that's what some people are starting to call me, Uncle Fester Photography. It's Darren Miles Photography. He dropped by a live chat on Wednesday, and he said that, I think he said like he picked up the lens that I reviewed. Of course, he wouldn't tell me what it was, but it turned out to be the Tamron 15-30. He just did a video review on it and posted some samples, and he loves the lens a lot, and I think he gives it like a rating of 97.5 or something out of 100. And anyway, he talks about the lens, and I think you should check out his channel. He's a really nice guy. I don't know what he thinks of me, but that's irrelevant. I think he does really neat video reviews, and he's kind of a cool cat that lives close to my other home. He lives in Naples, Florida, or as us folks in Fort Myers call it, Nipples, Florida. Anyway, I gave the Tamron 15-30 f2.8 Best Lens of the Year award last year, and that's in deference to the 14-24. We're looking at $1,200 here, $2,000 here on the 14-24. Both of these are 2.8 lenses. This is has vibration control. The 14-24 doesn't. Obviously, you have 6 more millimeters at the far end between 24 to 30. That's covered by the Tamron. Both of these are exquisite lenses, but I'm kind of reminded of a recent music video by a cute little singer called Neon Hitch. Of course, I don't know who would name their daughter Neon Hitch, but the song goes, she can love you good, but I can F you better. So that would be the Tamron talking. Kind of a crude analogy there, right? It is a better lens for $800 less. I agree with Darren Miles' assessment. The only thing I don't agree on, and it's no big deal, is that on the weather sealing. I think he says at the very end of the video, I can't remember his exact words, that the only difference he gives to the 15-30 is that it's not weather sealed. On Tamron's site, they actually say moisture resistant, MR, and of course all of that's from Tamron or Nikon or anybody else is meaningless BS. It is the case that all of these lenses are only sealed at the very, very absolute maximum against invasive weather. What would be invasive weather? That means you're out shooting, a cloud burst happens and you're able to capture a few more shots, or if you want to step outside for a second and you got some drizzle coming down, you can take a few shots, and that would be invasive weather. So they're actually sealed against very low level of invasion. None of them are sealed against pervasive weather. So invasive weather versus pervasive weather. All of these lenses, it doesn't matter what it is, and both of these have a rubber gasket on the rear end of the lens, but even if they don't, it doesn't matter because none of them are sealed against pervasive weather. Whether they call that moisture resistant or water resistant, none of them actually say water resistant, except for like some old Nikonos lens. None of them are sealed against pervasive weather. And some, like the Sigmas, are famous for being really cheaply constructed. They don't actually have a gasket in the front, so if you actually were to stupidly try to clean the lens, you get a drop of water that migrated to the edge of the front element, that it would seep back behind there and you'd end up with a nasty mess. And Sigma is kind of famous for really crappy construction on their lenses. But when it comes down to it, when it comes to humidity and pervasive weather, none of your camera gear is sealed against the weather. It's like, well, yeah, like my Fuji X-T1 is weather sealed, and this is actually the toughest camera ever made as far as weather sealing, the Nikon D3. I've taken more than a couple dead Nikon D3s apart, and I got them for basically nothing. I should have kept the chassis, but I sold off the good working parts of the Nikon D3, but they actually had corrosion on the inside of the boards. I mean, every camera has this gigantic hole on the front of the lens, and so they're not sealed against weather at all, and they're definitely not sealed against humidity. You can't be sitting out there shooting in the rain. That ain't going to happen. You know, every camera, DSLR camera, is just an enormously tightly packed bunch of electronics, and weather corrosion, humidity, insipid humidity creeping in. Like if you take a cold lens into the hot outdoors or vice versa, the lens actually sucks up this humidity on the inside. And you know, no matter how weather sealed you think the lens is not weather sealed. You won't notice the effects immediately, but it creeps, kind of like cancer. And that's what happens to lenses and cameras, is it creeps like cancer. So anyway, I saw Darren's new video review. I think you should subscribe. I think he's a cool cat and an awesome dude. I don't know whether an endorsement like that for me is probably it probably comes off as bad, like, oh dude, that tattooed freak is endorsing you. That's not good, right? I agree with him on his video review. I don't agree with him on the weather sealing, because I think he says at the very end what his exact words were was that he didn't. The only reason he didn't give it an absolute top recommendation was the lack of weather sealing, but that doesn't matter because none of these lenses are actually weather sealed at all. Even if they say weather sealing or moisture resistance or MR, which is what Tamron lists on the 15 to 30, none of them are sealed against pervasive weather, and absolutely none of them are sealed against what really destroys them, and that's humidity creep, and especially you know, going from rapid fluctuations between cold and hot and cold, indoor, outdoor. That's why you got to be packing Ziploc bags when you're traveling. It's like, well, I got a weather-resistant lens, and you know, this is the toughest DSLR. Yeah, you know, you won't notice the results immediately, but it will destroy your lens, especially lenses like this that actually have internal motors to drive them, and there's a little bit of circuitry in there that from the CPU contacts to especially the vibration control assembly, and the motor that actually drives these, and it will destroy them. So that really isn't anything. You know, when people ask me about weather sealing, that's never a consideration. Also, additionally so, this is what I have insurance for. And every shooter out there that's got a bunch of gear they're packing around to use for professional use, A, it's a tax write-off, and B, you got insurance on it anyway, or at least you damn well should. If you don't have it in your country, you know, what can I do about it? But many countries in the Western world, you're able to buy insurance on merchandise like this. So this was a big shout out to Darren Miles. Check out his channel. There'll be a link below to his video review on the 15 to 30. He shows some video and photography samples. I think he's a cool cat. He comes off as very very nice and beaver cleaver. That's not an insult, that's a compliment. I grew up watching Leave It to Beaver, you know, sort of like you know, very, you know, like give someone $1 million and, you know, you come back a year later and he's still protecting it for you, that sort of person. So I think he does some awesome complete video reviews, and I work on a different methodology. I kind of like bang them out, and people complain about that, but that is what I'm building NikonFocus.com for. No, I haven't given up on the website. I have been inundated with time constraints on, you know, answering emails and questions and whatnot, and time management is always an issue. I am guilty of overextending myself on certain things, and I will take full responsibility for that. But I've only got two hands. There's only 24 hours in a day. So anyway, that was an update on the 15 to 30. Check out Darren Miles' video review. I think he's an awesome cat. And those of you that bought the 15 to 30 Tamron off my recommendation, you know, I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is an excellent lens, and $800 cheaper than the Nikkor 14 to 24, and it has vibration control, and it actually is a sharper lens. However, sharpness doesn't mean everything. As I mentioned in a prior video, sharpness is only one aspect of a lens. For a reason to purchase same, you know, distortion, vignetting issues, chromatic aberration, flare, blah 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 blah, on and on and on, micro contrast, of course. Many reasons to buy a lens or to not buy a lens. So anyway, thank you for watching, and shout out to Darren. What's up? Darren is, I think he's probably now back in sunny Naples, Florida, and I am stuck in cold Kentucky. It's actually not that cold out right now, but I'll be heading to Florida here in a month or two for a little while, and then come back here. So anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.